y'all, welcome back to Elevate with Brody. Today I'm going to share with y'all my experience flying Delta One. I flew on DL-154, which flies from Boston Logan International Airport to Dublin Airport. This is a non-stop route. It leaves later at night around 11:30, 11:45 and arrives in Dublin around 10:30, 10:45 in the morning. Make sure you check out my review of the Delta One lounge at Boston Logan Airport. I already have that up on my channel. You can watch that as well. Now, this was about a 6-hour flight. Depends on which night you're doing it. Could be a little bit faster, a little bit slower. And Delta uses their Boeing 767-300ER for this flight. This is their oldest wide-body plane, but it is still pretty good. It is set for retirement in 2028, so eventually probably an A330neo 900 will replace it on this route in the future. Now, the Delta One cabin has around 26 seats in it. It's in a 1-to-1 staggered configuration, so what that means is for the window seats, some of the seats are directly next to the window, and then some are closer to the aisle and the console, so it just depends on where you're at. On this flight, I sat in seat 4D, so what that meant was my seat was directly next to the aisle and the console was next to me. So now let's board the plane. Delta One passengers board in Zone 1, so there's plenty of room to find your seat and use the overhead bin. Delta uses the Thompson Vantage lie flat seats, and compared to newer offerings, these are a little bit behind, but they're still pretty good. When I arrived at my seat, there was a bottle of water, the Delta One menu, and also Missoni bedding and amenity kit, and also the headphones. As we were waiting for boarding to finish completing, the crew came around and offered a pre-departure beverage. On this instance, I had some sparkling wine, and the purser also came around to verify the meal orders for the flight. Shortly after takeoff, the meal service started with a hot towel, and also I had a glass of rosé. On late night flights like this, Delta does express service where all the meal comes out at once. And also, the cabin lights are dim during the meal service, as most passengers ate in the lounge beforehand and choose to go straight to sleep. For this specific flight, there were 3 starters offered, including a smoked salmon dish, tomato basil soup, and mixed greens. I really enjoyed the salmon, and the soup and salad were fine. For this flight, for the entree, there were 3 options of a short rib, chicken breast, and ravioli. As y'all can see, I chose the short rib. It also had mashed potatoes and carrots. I really did enjoy the dish. The beef had good texture, and overall the dish had good flavor. Lastly, to finish up the meal, there was a choice of ice cream sundae, fruit and cheese plate, and opera cake with coffee, buttercream, and dark chocolate. The cake was a good way to finish up the meal, but I was a little disappointed by the presentation and size of the dessert. Now that we're finished with the meal, let's take a look at the IFE. This is probably the worst category on this flight, as it is very old. It's only about a 10-inch touchscreen. Most modern business class seats would have at least a 20-inch touchscreen. The nice part is you still have access to Delta's Sync entertainment, so everything was up to speed and had a great collection of movies, TV shows, and music. Also on this flight, there was Wi-Fi, which was nice. Of course, for Delta One, it is included, and for most SkyMiles members, it is as well. Delta did provide over-the-ear headphones which connect at your seat, and these definitely are a step up from economy, but again, compared to some business class offerings, they fall short. Up front in business class, there are 2 lavatories to use. These are pretty standard size. They did have a little bit nicer finishes, but overall still the same bathroom. There was lotion and other little products. That was nice. Now, of course, the big selling point of Delta One is the lie flat seats. They lie flat to around 77 inches, and they're about 20 inches wide. You also do have the Missoni bedding. You have the mattress topper, the blanket, and the pillow, so the sleeping experience was great. Yes, it is a little bit more comfortable on newer offerings, but it was still sufficient, and I was able to get great sleep. After a few hours of sleep, it was time for breakfast. I really liked how the flight attendants would see if you were awake to serve the breakfast. There were 2 options for breakfast, including French toast and a spinach and tomato quiche, and both meals came with a chia seed pudding and a beverage. Now looking back on this breakfast, I wish I would have gotten the French toast because the quiche was not very good. The crust was super hard, and the flavor of the quiche itself wasn't very good, but the chia seed pudding was quite good. About an hour or so after finishing the breakfast, we officially landed in Dublin. Now, we did get there a little early, so we actually had to wait for our gate to open, but I didn't really mind because I was able to fall back asleep for a little bit of time. So now looking back at everything, I really did enjoy the flight and the whole experience with the check-in and the lounge. I really enjoyed the dinner, the service on the plane was nice, and also, of course, the lie flatbed. Really, the only downsides of this flight were the limited storage space and also the small IFE, but these are things that Delta has already worked on for their newer generation planes. Even though the Boeing 767 is a bit older, I'm glad I was able to experience before they retire it for newer options. I definitely look forward to flying Delta One in the future on the A330 or the A350. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to check out my Delta One lounge review or my flight review with Virgin Atlantic Economy Delight from London Heathrow to Atlanta.